So how are you? Good? I'll be outside after this to take your car orders. We got some great vehicles for you. First of all, it's really neat to be back in the MBA program. And what I thought I'd do is, you're still studying case studies, right? You do a lot of that. And they describe the situation, they give you lots and lots of data, and then you're supposed to think or reflect on what you would do. So I thought a way to introduce our conversation today is let's do a case study on Ford, okay? And then you get to be me, okay? Because I'm looking for a few more good ideas, and I'm going to get it here today. Okay, so it's 2006. It's September. I'm the Chief Executive Officer at Boeing Commercial Airplanes. I'm looking forward to creating one more Boeing airplane to replace maybe the 737. 80% of all of the seats that are flying worldwide are Boeing airplanes. Feeling really good about Boeing, feeling really good about our contribution to safe and efficient transportation. And I get a phone call from Bill Ford. I'm going, Bill Ford of like the Ford Motor Company, the great grandson of Henry Ford. That's the one. And he said, we're in really tough shape, and I would really like your help. And would you consider coming to Ford? So I started doing my due diligence. And at the end of the day, I was being asked to serve a second American and global icon, and I just couldn't turn that opportunity down. So I walk into the office in the world headquarters of the Ford Motor Company, the 12th floor, and I look out the window, and here's the Rouge plant. And here's where Henry Ford created the moving assembly line. This is where Mr. Toyoda of Toyota came to visit to learn how to make cars and how to continuously improve the quality and the productivity. And here was the entire plant. At the time, he was 100% vertically integrated, the most efficient operation in the world. And I'm reviewing the situation. And here's the situation. I check with our finance people, and they give me the great news that we are projected to lose $17 billion in 2006. You can run out of money really fast. That's $17 billion a year. I also are reviewing the situation about what Ford has become. And Ford has now become a house of brands. And remember, I left Boeing to come to Ford. And Ford was Aston Martin, it was Jaguar, it was Land Rover, it was Volvo. I had a significant relationship with Mazda. And so Ford was this house of brands. And it also happened to have Ford and Mercury and Lincoln brands also. Also, Henry Ford set up Ford all around the world so that he could participate in the economy, not only provide great cars and trucks, but also be part of the economic fabric of all the countries in which Ford operated. But Ford had become very regionalized, and none of the Fords talked to each other around the world. There was no synergy, and we were competing with the best global companies in the world, and we had no scale and no integration of all the intellectual capability around the world. Also, in the United States, we had labor agreements with the unions and our cost structure where we really couldn't make cars in the United States and make them profitably. So we stopped doing that, and the ones that we did make were pretty marginal, and we focused on bigger SUVs and trucks. So if you wanted to live in a 150 and pull your house behind it simultaneously, you could get the best truck in the world from Ford. But we didn't have a full family of vehicles in the United States. Also, we really hadn't made a commitment to being best in class with the competition. So we were kind of competitive on quality and fuel efficiency and safety and really smart design. But we weren't really best in class. In addition, we were unprofitable in every one of those brands, and in every model we were losing money.
Can you talk about, maybe tell some stories as to what culture was like then and what you did to change the culture? And kind of how you initiate cultural change from the top down.
Absolutely. Wow. I was thinking of one of the things that Bill Ford was asked one time about the culture, and I think he used the word the Kremlin comes to mind from a past history, and you can imagine what it was like at Ford when everybody was regionalized. There are no skill teams like engineering and manufacturing that went across the company, so there's no way to work together. And everybody's scared. I mean, it's not going very well. We're losing money. there's not that compelling vision of where we're going. There are not actions in place to get us there. So, and we're having problems with the vehicles, and so it was a pretty tough environment. Although I'd say that Ford has always attracted the best and the brightest through the years from around the world. I mean, you remember the Whiz Kid stories, and it's just this fabulous company with a 107-year history of innovation throughout the years. And so talented people, motivated people, but we didn't have a plan. We didn't have a vision. We didn't have a comprehensive strategy, and we weren't implementing it. So it was pretty scary, and everybody's kind of looking out for themselves, and a lot of people were leaving. And so the only thing I know to do is, just like my days at Boeing, was you got to pull everybody together. You need a compelling vision about where we're going, so we all understand where we're going, so then all the actions are explainable. Everybody has to be on the team. So I am, every skill team I invited, so engineering, manufacturing, legal, communications, every skill team was now on the team, on the leadership team, all reporting to me. And all the business unit leaders from around the world, Asia Pacific, Americas, all there. And then we started what I've always done with big airplane programs, is I just have a weekly meeting where we review everything associated with the plan, everything. So we meet at 7 o'clock in the morning because we're trying to honor time changes to Shanghai and Australia and everywhere else. And so we got the clocks all up on the wall. We are all connected on the internet. We have screens we're around the round table where we're seeing all the leaders wherever they are around the world. One set of charts, 320 charts, all of the plan, whether it's income statement, balance sheet, launches of new vehicles, that's all blue bars. There's a forecast, a red diamond, which is that leader's assessment of how it's going. Then there's the risk and opportunities, that all the risks have been identified, and the opportunities have been monetized. And so we're looking also 5 years out. So when we complete the performance like the 6.6, or you could also say an operating profit 8.3, I just might toss that in. That everybody knows what the plan is, everybody knows what the status of the plan is, and everybody knows the areas that need special attention. You do it together. The meeting goes from 7 to about 7 to 9:30, and then we have guests there from around the world, from the engineering, manufacturing, all watching, and we meet them and we get their feedback at the end. So you can imagine how transparent and close you get. Now, when we first started this, remember I told you that within a couple of days, the forecast was we were going to lose $17 billion. So I started the business plan review. The charts are flowing, 320 charts. We even have them color-coded, red, yellow, green. Any change on the chart is in blue. So there's lots that doesn't change. All you're looking for is what has changed. You don't want to hear a long explanation about what's going on. What you want is that everybody knows the plan. Everybody knows the areas that need special attention. So the color, you got the charts going, and it was about 3 or 4 weeks. The data's flowing, and all the charts are green. And I stopped the meeting. I said, "You guys, we're going to lose $17 billion. Is there anything that's not going well here?" Eye contact goes to the floor. Nobody says anything. Now remember that culture you asked about. It wasn't okay to bring things up. I mean, it was command and control. People disappeared. So I think another week went by and they were green. And of course, they got me. They got this new leader. What's this leader going to do? And so the next 2 weeks later, Mark Fields, who's the leader of all the Americas business, Canada, the United States, and South America, had an Edge launch in Oakville, Canada. And they had an actuator issue on the tailgate. So he stopped production because we're going to be best in class. We're not going to deliver one vehicle unless it's done, and it's the best in quality. So he had like 2,000 or 3,000 Edges, sitting out on the tundra. Thank God it was cold, so they weren't sinking in. Because when you stop production, I mean, it's a big deal. And so up comes his chart for the launch of this new Edge, and it's bright red. And I mean, it got so quiet. You know what they're all thinking. It's over. Mark's gone. Gone. He's out of here. And then what's this new guy going to do? So I started to clap. Now they knew that was a sign. The door was going to open. Somebody's going to come in. Mark's out of here. But I could just feel it. I mean, and I said, Mark, is there anything that we can do to help you with that? And before Mark could say one word, Benny Fowler, who is the head of quality now worldwide, said, Mark, I think I've seen that issue on a launch that we did 6 months ago. Because, you know, in the car business, you have so much product coming out. I mean, it's what's so exciting. And then Joe Hendricks, at the time, he's the leader of all Asia Pacific now, was the head of manufacturing. He said, you're going to need some manufacturing engineers, because as soon as you find that problem and fix it, you're going to have to change all those vehicles and get the production going again. I'll have our dynamite talent up in Canada immediately. And then Derek Kuzak, who leads product development worldwide, says, Mark, I've seen that technical issue on such and such 5 years ago or something. I'll get right on that. That exchange took 12 seconds. 12 seconds. We went on to the next chart. Of course, it was green. One of the next chart, it's green. The next week, I think it was still red, Mark's chart. Everything else was green. Next week, I think he changed it to yellow because they found a solution and now they're implementing it. I think the next week, it turned to green. And boom, all the vehicles started going. And then probably one of the most exciting days of my life, both from a, oh shit, I mean, this is a terrible situation. Sorry, so sorry. To, my gosh, we're going to make it, was the following week. And guess what the charts look like? They look like a rainbow. Like a rainbow. And I'm going, oh my goodness. Now the data says right here why we're losing $17 billion. Because the data sets you free, right? Data tells you everything. But also now it was safe enough that you could share how it was. You weren't red. The issue you're working on is red. As a matter of fact, the expectation is that everybody really does know what the situation is, because you can't manage a secret. People can't help if you don't know what the real situation is. And it's safe, and you're not going to get killed. Now, you can imagine the accountability around the table. Are you going to be red on an item, and then you're going to go through the week and come back and say to all your colleagues, I was really busy last week. I didn't have a chance to work on that. I mean, the pressure in a positive way is like fantastic, because everybody there is trying to figure out how to help go forward. So on that one day, it was probably like, oh my gosh, this is really in bad shape. We all knew that. On the other hand, I knew at that moment that we were going to be able to turn Ford around.